Hi, everybody. This is Elenbaas from Nightlight Astrology. It's Friday, November 16th, and I'm sitting down to make a little video that I decided to make because I've been getting a lot of questions about my upcoming course and about how the need-based tuition of my upcoming course works. So this is just going to be a brief little live cast that I'm doing to basically give people an idea about what my upcoming courses are all about, what will be covered in my upcoming courses, and also the different forms of tuition that are available, including need-based tuition, which is, again, something I've been getting a lot of emails about. So for going on 8, 9, I guess this is going to be my 17th one-year program that I've taught online, dating back to 2010. I've done 2 programs per year. We're talking about 1-year natal astrology programs that meet online once a week. There are 30 classes in a year and 12 guest teachers. So you have about 42 classes on the year when you add guest teachers into the mix. So 42 classes in a year, they all meet online. I've, again, taken, I think it's getting close to over 400 people now have gone through these programs dating back to 2010. So I run 2 of them per year. One starts in the fall, one starts in the spring. And the next course begins on Saturday starting December 1st. It meets every Saturday from about noon to 2 p.m. Eastern time, which is going to start at about 9 a.m. if you're on the Pacific side. And then you just kind of go across I think it's 2 hours back, so probably 10 a.m. Mountain and maybe 11 a.m. Central or something like that. And if you're across the pond, I think it's probably about 6 p.m. your time, something like that. So this course has had a lot of people go through it. I run it twice a year. The next one's coming up. And it is a course in ancient astrology for modern times. So the idea is to teach people how to read birth charts, but to do so by starting from the very roots of the tradition, looking at the original ancient meanings of the houses, of the signs, of the planets, of the aspects, and all of the different ways in which those basic theoretical components of astrology interact to create meaningful interpretations. And this class is geared toward people who are either just lovers of astrology and would like to, just take it deeper on a personal level for personal growth and healing, transformation. It's also a good course for people who are maybe feeling the urge to share astrology with others, to do readings for others. That both the course kind of fits either intention. The course is called Ancient Astrology for Modern Times because we also look at the ancient philosophy that astrologers had, which is very similar to Eastern philosophies. There's a lot of mystical traditions, share a lot of philosophical commonalities, but we look at those and we also compare how the philosophy of ancient astrologers compares to the philosophy of modern astrologers. Making interesting comparisons and making some interesting contrasts. So as we go, we're also building meaningful bridges into different kinds of modern forms and practices of astrology. The idea being that you get, for people who've been studying astrology for a while but don't know anything about classical sort of ancient astrology, this is a way to go deeply into the roots to develop a more grounded and in some ways a more organized and coherent understanding of all of the basic ingredients of astrology. Sometimes people think, gosh, I already know so much about astrology, I don't want to take some kind of beginner's course. The reason for learning ancient astrology is sort of like the same thing that you'll hear from great music instructors or great artists or performers. There is nothing worth reviewing and getting better at, nothing more worth reviewing or getting better at than the basics. And especially when most people really don't have a very deep understanding of the basics. So, for example, most people don't know why the signs mean the things that they do. They don't necessarily understand why the planets mean what they do. And they don't necessarily understand why the houses are organized the way that they are. They don't even understand necessarily what aspects really are. Once you understand what those things really are, even if you already have some of those basic things down, you will be able to use them with 10 times more effectiveness than you've ever been able to use them before. Even if you don't feel like, oh, I'm going to be an ancient astrologer, some kind of classical Hellenistic astrologer, you will be a much more well-rounded student of astrology. If you're coming to astrology for the first time, there's no better place to start because you're starting from the ground up. In a sense, you're moving from the ancient roots forward and getting a sort of vast survey of the entire sort of history. Plus, you get 12 really cool guest speakers that come in from all over the field of astrology, professional field of astrology, and many of them come from very different backgrounds, teaching backgrounds, and philosophical backgrounds from myself. So you get some really good diversity in the program as well. What to speak of all of your classmates who are really, really cool and generally speaking make the course totally unforgettable because the interactions that we have outside of class in our group forum, inside of class in our discussions, looking at charts together, there's a really cool bond that's formed and it becomes a community experience. So those are some of the good reasons to take the course. I think that one of the also great benefits of the course is that in the second half of the program, well, second half to last third of the program, we transition from having covered all of the really deep theory of ancient astrology. In most of the time, even people who have taken a lot of astrology in are learning things that are brand new to them. So don't let it fool you, even though it's a course that starts sort of looking at very basic components. I promise you, you'll be looking at them in ways that you've never looked at them before. But those people who have had this kind of experience before, by the time that you've taken all of this in, there's a really exciting kind of turn that happens in the program in the second part where we start bringing live clients into the classroom. And when live clients come to the classroom, I read for them using the theory that we've been studying. And basically what you're getting are very organized ways of implementing theory to read for others, and you're getting to see it done. So you have some actual sense of what a reading looks like or what it could look like. That also allows you to shape for yourself what you might look like as a reader, or even if you're not planning on reading for other people, it gives you a better sense of how to integrate the material when using it for yourself or just people that you're close with or whatever. So those experiences toward the end of the class with live clients are also one of my favorite parts of the program. Overall, we have workshop discussions about those charts after the clients have left. Jennifer's asking how many students are in the class. It really depends, because here's the thing, is that I have a huge amount of people that are international that take the class that can't participate live because of time zone conflicts. Because of that, and because some people work jobs or they're raising families or whatever, about, sometimes 40% of the students in the class are taking the class remotely. Meaning there are audio-video recordings of every class each week that are given, put in your Dropbox folder, and then you can access them and basically take in the class at your own pace and time if you want. So a lot of people are coming and going. If they have busy schedules or hectic work lives or whatever, they might be taking the course sort of in their own time. So the class might have 40 to 50 people enrolled, but a regular attendance of in class of about 20. Sometimes that's sort of what it's like. You have sometimes it's bigger. Sometimes I've had classes as big as 75 with maybe 30 to 40 people attending live. So it can depend. This class is a little on the smaller side so far. There's still a little time to go before. It's a little on the smaller side. I would anticipate probably between 15 and 25 live students in class each week, maybe another 15 or 20 that are taking remotely so far. So hopefully that answers your question there. The other thing that's important to note is that you can take the course as a certification course, or you can take it basically more leisurely. The certification requirement is a final exam at the end of the course that sort of tests you on all the knowledge and gives you a chart to look at with some delineation questions about the chart. I usually require 80% attendance, live attendance on the year for certification, unless someone has a legitimate conflict that does not allow them to be in class. So that would be the requirement in terms of certifications, 80% live attendance and a final exam passed. And it's just a pass-fail situation at the end. It's, just do you get the gist of the material or not? And so that's kind of how the program is structured. Every week after class, there's PowerPoints for every single lesson, and those PowerPoints are on screen. I'm on camera. Lots of other people are on camera. We're all talking There's live chat box, stuff like that. And then after the lesson is done, I put the audio video recording of the class in the class folder Dropbox, and along with optional homework for every single lesson. Now, some people really go nuts with the homework and some people don't. So the homework is totally optional in that regard. Some people will do, there's suggested reading for every single lesson. There's sort of bonus reading if you want to really go bananas. And then there's an optional quiz with every lesson that has the answer key, so you can sort of test yourself to make sure you're integrating the information. Sometimes there are, like for the houses, for example, we have 3 talks on the houses, a very in-depth topic, where they come from, why the topics were originally assigned in the way that they are, how to read them as more than just a list of topics, how to get deep into the kind of karmic meaning behind the houses. Those lectures come with over 20 hours worth of additional bonus audio and video that I've recorded for students. So a lot of the lessons come with, 3, 4, 5 extra hours worth of talks on the same subjects, so that if you really want to go deeply into the material, you can. But some people don't. They're not as interested in going as deeply. They don't have that much time. And so it's optional. It's not required. But every lesson comes with that ability to go really deep with homework, quizzes, additional reading, bonus audio, video, etc. We also have a group forum that's in discussion every week around the stuff that we're talking about in class. So the program is really pretty dynamic, and people who stick with the program from start to finish over the course of a year, generally speaking, are pretty ready to read charts, at least at a basic or introductory level if they've never had any experience before. That doesn't mean everybody's ready to start a professional practice. Everyone's different, but there's been a lot of good success stories that have come out of the program. I'm always happy to refer people who are interested to previous students. You can talk to them about the program if you want to, get some referrals and stuff like that. But the bigger question that people have is, what about payment? Because there's a number of different payment options, that I've been getting a lot of emails about this, asking me, well, how do I pay for the course if I want to sign up for it? So ever since I started this program, I've always provided donation-based tuition. Donation-based tuition is for people who otherwise could not afford the course. Someone's asking me for a link, and yes, let me give that to you really quick. So people will always, want to study things like astrology, but they may not have the opportunity to do so because of economic or financial constraints. So I'm very passionate about making sure that there are equal opportunities for everyone to study astrology. It's something I've been passionate about for my entire career. The first year that I started reading charts, because of a vision basically that I had in an ayahuasca ceremony, I decided to do my entire first year of readings all by no minimum donations, just to gain experience. I'm still doing that today with horary readings. I'm gathering just more experience doing horary charts, which is a newer form of astrology for me, and do it all by donation. I've given, in the past 2 years, I've done over 250 donation-based chart readings through that program. And I have people coming into the classrooms all the time in my different programs by donation or for free. So I'm very passionate about making sure that astrological experiences and education are accessible to people regardless of financial situations. And so because that's something I'm very passionate about, I make this program available by need-based tuition. So need-based tuition goes like this. If you are a single parent, if you're a full-time student, if you only work part-time, if you're on disability, if you're in some kind of real financial constraints or hardship, anything that is sometimes retired and not receiving much retirement income, something like that, and you can't afford the course because of that constraint, then you are welcome to reach out and use the need-based tuition. The need-based tuition works like this. It's really super simple. If you can't afford the normal tuition, which is $12.99 if you're paying up front for the whole year, that's an early bird rate. So if you pay up front for the course, it's $12.99. If you need a 12-month payment plan, it's $1,800. I believe that accurately reflects the value of the course for someone who is going to be committed to the year of study. It's a very deep, very thorough, very rich program that will prepare people, especially people who want to use it or want this kind of an experience very intentionally, that's what I value the course at. But if you can't afford that, there's also a 6-month rate, by the way. You can check that out on the website, which I just put into the box. It's nightlightastrology.com. Check out the certification course tab, and you'll see there's a 6-month tuition and early bird rate for that too, if you only want to take the first 6 months, which is just the theoretical portion of the course. But if you need need-based tuition, the suggested scale is tuition of between $67 and $100 per month. Now, if some people will say, I can't afford even that. So if that can't help your budget, then I just ask people to do the best that they can do. So that karmically, it's really is what matters, meaning that you are sacrificing something as an offering, and in return, you're receiving a sacrifice of, my time and work and energy and the other teachers that come in. And so that exchange of sacrifice, that exchange of energy is the most important piece. So I ask people who are going to use need-based tuition to simply look at their budget and say, this is what I have available. This is what I can give. It reflects it reflects an investment on my part, whatever my budget is. But it's not going to push me to the brink of being in any kind of harm or danger. It's not going to add some kind of unnecessary burden to on my plate right now. So people who need who would like to use the need-based tuition to take the course, please do so. But remember, this is another very important thing. Sometimes when you're in crisis, if you're in crisis, it may not be the best time to try to focus on a course. You may need to just try to shore up your resources and get into a more stable place. So I don't think that this is a course for people who aren't in a stable place with a focused intention to study astrology. But it is for people who are, really wanting to study astrology, but the budget is tight. It's too tight to afford most courses out there, especially something that's more committed and focused and long-term. And so if that's you and you'd like to use the need-based tuition, then I just tell you to reach out, and you can email me at nightlightastrology@gmail.com. And when you reach out, or you can just fill out the form on the certification course page. There's a register for natal chart certification course. Fill out either of those, mail it in to me, and just say, hey, this is my situation. This is what's going on. Give me just sort of a brief description of it. And then, I just want to know what's going on so I have some sense of it. And most of the time, there's no problem. Yes, that sounds like you're in a spot where the need-based tuition could work for you. So let's go ahead and do that. I'll send you a form. The form is just a little student contract. It'll give you, your credit card information, which we put through our yoga studio. And every month you're charged on the 15th for 12 months. And then that tuition is something that you agree to pay the same amount every month. So you just kind of have a fixed budget. You might, I've had people pay $25 a month. I've had some people that are, paying $70 or $60 or $80 a month. Whatever you can do, the best you can do that allows you to take the course and that reflects an investment on your part within your budget is what the need-based tuition is all about. I ask that people not use it for a discount. Basically, I just ask that you not say, well, I can afford this, but not right now. So I'll just use this as a discount because I really want to take it right now. The correct thing to do in that case would be to wait until your budget loosens up a little bit, because, you're not just trying to get out of debt after going on vacation or something, So kind of knowing the difference between, your budget is constrained, but you'd be able to afford it maybe next spring or next fall or something like that. And my budget is really tight sort of perpetually, and I would need some help to take any kind of course like this really probably at any point for the foreseeable future. So you have to know that difference within yourself. I just ask people to be in integrity about it. And I generally trust people. Over the years, I've had 90% really good experiences with the need-based tuition structure. So I hope that this makes it accessible for some of you. And if you have any questions about the course, you can ask me. Someone's asking, will we look at our own charts? There's a lot of people in class, so it's not like you get a lot of in-depth treatment of your birth chart. But you do sometimes, there are classes where we will take some people's birth charts from class as demonstrations. But in our group forum outside of class, people spend a lot of time asking questions about each other's birth charts and stuff like that. So, there's definitely space and room for it. I'd say most of the students in class are actively applying the theory to their own birth charts and talking about it with one another. People are always welcome to email me at any time throughout the course to ask questions about the material that we're studying too. So I try to make myself an open book and really available for everybody. So the last thing that I'll say is that when you study astrology, it's a little bit like being in the Wild West. You're out there, you're kind of on your own, you're sort of winging it, you're studying books here, there, taking in workshops. And I think it's really good to have a variety of teachers, a variety of experiences. That kind of variety is good. But at the same time, most people, when they get more serious about astrology, more committed, it will find that it is a very positive thing to have a focused period of time with one teacher, because that allows you basically to get a deeper kind of entrainment to the way that a particular practitioner works. It's not necessarily that I want to make prototypes of the way that I do astrology, but I believe very deeply in the sort of teacher-student dynamic that's more personal. Even if you're in a group setting, having the same teacher over a focused period of time can help you hone your skills. And whether that means you're going to agree with me in the way that I do things or kind of shape your own way based off from the interactions that you have in my course, I believe that that personal contact is very, very valuable. And so that's why I always tell people, whether it's my course or some other course, having a teacher that you work with in a committed way over a long period of time, I think is very, very valuable. So at any rate, my daughter is apparently about to, I don't know what, she's flipping out in the hallway, I think. So I'm going to go check on her. And I hope to see some of you guys in class. Okay, bye everybody.